Good morning, we're Hayley and Jake. Along with our dog Finnley, we've spent the last 2 years full-time in our van traveling Mexico and Central America. We've been into van life for the last 5 years and we've been full-time for the last 2.
Living this lifestyle, we commonly get asked questions about what it's like to travel in our van with our dog, venturing down into Mexico and Latin America. So today we're going to sit down with a cup of coffee and answer all of those questions.
So, grab a coffee, let's get started. To make this easy to organize, we have broken out the questions into categories. We have travel, van, and Finnley. And we're going to go through them one at a time and answer the questions. So we're starting with travel. What is our first question?
How far are you going? This is a great first question because if you're only familiar with our YouTube channel, then you've only seen our Mexico travel content. However, if you are a part of our Instagram community or receive our email updates, then you'll know that we are much further ahead. When we started this adventure, our goal was to only road trip across Mexico. Once we finished that road trip, we weren't ready to go home. We wanted to keep traveling, so we decided to go to Central America. And just 2 months ago, we finished road tripping Central America and we decided to ship our van to Colombia in South America. So our new travel goal is to drive the length of South America to get to the bottom of Argentina, which is a town called Ushuaia. And yeah, that's our new travel goal. We're going all the way to the bottom of South America. All right, next question.
How long are you planning to be on the road for? We don't know. When we set out, we wanted to do a year in Mexico, and then we took the next phase and just saw how long it'd take for Central America. We're expecting to be on the road for another year or 2 in South America, but we don't have a timeline. We'd like to hit Patagonia when the weather's nice, so when we get to the area, if it's cold, we'll probably go to Brazil, and if it's hot, we'll go to Patagonia.
Awesome, good job. Next question. I'm gonna dive down this one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Have you had any safety issues and what do you do to stay safe?
It's a big question.
Yeah, this is a big question. Okay, this is a question we get asked a lot. The short answer is no, we haven't had any safety issues. We've had really positive experiences in all of the countries that we've visited. But much longer answer is there is a lot of things that we do to stay safe. Up front, we do a lot of research and put a lot of effort into trip planning, figuring out where the safe areas are, where the good areas are, and we generally just want to have a good time, so we don't venture off into areas that are troubled. We stick to the fun touristy areas, and that's worked really well for us. This is a topic that we have considered making a full-length video on because there is so much to talk about on this one. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let us know in the comments.
We also, while we're traveling, talk to locals quite a lot and ask if areas are safe, how's the road to the next place we want to go, and we get recommendations that way as well.
Yeah.
Is it hard getting your van across the border? Typically, it's not very difficult. Most border crossings, you need to bring your original title. Finnley, stop giving the camera, you turn. So, is it hard getting your van across the border? Typically, no. Most border crossings, you just need your vehicle title, and then you go in and get a temporary import permit, which says how long your van is allowed to be in the country for, which usually matches our tourist visa, so it's no big deal. Sometimes they want to search the vehicle. In Nicaragua, they put it through a scanner. It's a bit of upfront time, but it's not very difficult, and it's usually a simple process. The only time it can be tricky is when you want to fly back home and leave your van in the country. You have to watch out for how long your import permit is. Besides that, easy.
What has been your biggest challenge? Ooh. Okay. So I think our biggest challenge would be in Mexico. We were there during the summer and it got really, really, really hot.
There was a really bad heat wave.
There was an awful heat wave, and we designed our van for road trip in Canada and the US. It wasn't until we basically finished our van that we decided to venture down to Mexico. So we didn't design our van for handling the summer climates of Mexico. And so yeah, just dealing with the heat down there was really challenging. We ended up making some upgrades to the van to handle that better, but it was definitely a challenge.
How did you start van life? We wanted to travel, but we have Finnley, and it's very difficult to backpack with a 75-pound dog. So we bought our first van 5 years ago and took a 6-month road trip throughout the States. And then when COVID hit, we came home, sold that van, and started building this one. And we did it because there was a lot of things that van didn't have that we wanted to be more comfortable. And yeah, so we wanted to travel, and we have Finnley. It's really hard to do it another way.
You forgot Iceland.
I forgot Iceland. Well,
We had a 2-week road trip in Iceland. That was the first time we'd ever been in a camper van. That was what kicked off this whole lifestyle.
we really enjoy it.
Yeah. My drink. Next one. How did you get your van across the Darien Gap? Okay, good question. So the Darien Gap is a region between Panama and Colombia. It's what separates North America with South America. There's no roads going through it. There's no ferries. The only way to get around there is to put your vehicle on a cargo ship and ship it, which is a process.
It's a process.
We wish,
did it.
Yeah, we did it. We wish there was a simpler process such as a ferry. There's not. We have to put our vehicle into a container. We shipped it with another person that managed to keep the costs down. And then the 3 of us took a flight over.
What countries are the cheapest and what are the most expensive? The most expensive country we've been to by far is Costa Rica. Everything there is very expensive, although you can keep the cost down by camping for free on the beach. And it is a beautiful country. The cheapest we've been to so far is actually Colombia, which is very beautiful and so far has been reasonable. Besides that, in Central America, El Salvador and Nicaragua are a bit cheaper. Mexico is a lot cheaper than the US, but certain things are still expensive. And then the other countries kind of fall in the middle. So Costa Rica, expensive, Panama, kind of mid, Mexico, El Salvador, and Nicaragua, a little cheaper. And then South America is turning out to be pretty reasonably priced.
What is camping like in Mexico and Central America? Okay, so all through Mexico and Central America, we stayed at a variety of campsites. We were in formal campsites, we were boondocking, we were parking at gas stations, the whole spectrum, we stayed at them. Do you want to go into like what campsites are like? Do you think that's helpful?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So campsites in Mexico and Central America are a little bit different from up in Canada and the US. The generally amenities that you get are the same, such as you'll have electric hookup, bathrooms,
sometimes.
showers. Yeah, all of this comes with caveats, like sometimes. Sometimes you have a shower, it's a bucket of cold water that you are pouring over yourself, it's not coming out of a faucet. Sometimes the bathroom is a hole in the ground. Sometimes you can plug into electric shore power, however that shore power is connected to a tree and it's not grounded and you have to turn down your electrical system on your side so you don't overflow the circuit. It varies.
So camping in Mexico and Central America, if you're boondocking, in the Baja Peninsula, you can camp anywhere for free and it's beautiful on the beach. Once you get to the mainland, it is much more sparse because the land is much more populated. So there are sometimes free camping spots where you can camp on a beach access road and then walk to the beach. Frequently you can park at the main squares overnight and it's totally fine. Frequently you can park in towns as well, just on the side of the street, and it's okay. Quite often we slept at gas stations while we were traveling because they're safe and they're convenient and you don't have to worry about if you're gonna get woke up in the night because you have security guards and you are allowed to be there. So in Mexico and Central America, the wild camping options are more limited than they are in the Baja Peninsula, but they exist if you look for them and it's a lot more built up. And the campsites are usually fairly cheap and have varying amenities.
Yeah. Cool. The next question.
Yeah.
You have a runaway. Get back in there.
Ooh. What country has your favorite food?
That's a great question for you. I'm glad you got that one.
Hey, Finnley. I really like the food in Mexico. It is very varied and very diverse. And Mexican food is, hey, come here, buddy. Stop scratching.
Okay.
Stop scratching.
Finnley.
We really like the food in Mexico. It is delicious. There's so many different types, and each state has their own type of food. Street food is cheap and delicious. We really like the tacos, and all of the food in Oaxaca was delicious as well. Once you got into Central America, the food got a little more bland and became a little more rice and beans. And Colombia has been nice as well, but Mexico takes a cake for me by a long shot. Get it? Just cake and food.
Yeah, you're funny.
I'm funny.
Are you working on the road? No. We saved up, we worked, we sold everything, saved up some travel money, hit the road, and we've been focusing on enjoying our trip. So we're not working right now. We do like our YouTube videos, and we have our website and all that. It brings in a little bit of money, but we're mostly going off savings.
Saved up for years, sold everything we had, hit the road. Okay, next question. What has been your favorite country? This is a tough question because every country's been awesome. We really liked the beach camping in Costa Rica and the wildlife was amazing, but I think my favorite country was Mexico, if we had to pick, because it's so varied and diverse. There's so many different things you can see there. There's Baja Peninsula, there's the mountains, there's culture, there's the Yucatan. So there's so much in the country, and it's just an amazing place. What's your answer?
Oh, I had an answer too? Okay.
Yes.
Mexico as well, for slightly different reasons. We were quite apprehensive to travel over to mainland Mexico and then continue south into Central America. But traveling through Mexico really was eye-opening for us because of how not like our preconceptions. It was very different, and we loved it. We had so much fun there, and it really did give us the courage to continue exploring more into Latin America.
Oh.
And we've had a fantastic time. We've really enjoyed all the countries that we've gone to, and had we not visited Mexico, we never would have visited any of the other countries.
For us, Baja was the gateway to Mexico, and Mexico was the gateway to the Pan America. So it's turned out well.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Have you had any issues with the police? Okay, this is a question we get asked a lot. Like, I don't know why. We have had no issues with the police. We have been pulled over a couple times, mostly just because there are police checkpoints randomly all over all the countries, but they see that we have foreign plates and they're just asking to see our paperwork. So to make sure that our vehicle has insurance, that we're not overstaying our visas, that sort of thing. Everyone has been very friendly, very professional. Yeah, we've had no issues.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Getting to the last couple of... How do you get mail? On the road, we have, when we set out to leave on this trip, we forwarded our mail to our parents. So anything from the government or official, our parents get for us. And then if we need to get anything on the road, like online packages, we usually ship to DHL locations. They're all down the Americas, and usually they'll receive online packages. You can send Amazon orders there. So we've ordered a couple things we need for the van there.
We've also ordered to campsites, so we'll contact them ahead of time and just ask if we can use their address to ship something to, and they usually say yes.
Yeah, there's usually people in every country who will accept mail for you. And so we've ordered a lot of things like that, including our Starlink, which we had shipped to Mexico, and it was really handy.
And when we shipped our drone across Nicaragua, because drones are illegal in Nicaragua, we contacted a campsite in Costa Rica, and they received our drone, and then just after we traveled through Nicaragua, we went to the campsite and picked it back up.
And stayed there. They asked us to stay as well.
Yes, we stayed. Okay, last question. How is your Spanish?
Not the best.
When we started, we knew zero Spanish, but we have been making an effort to learn every day. We do Duolingo every day. We watch Spanish movies, like Disney movies with Spanish subtitles, that sort of thing. And every interaction that we go into with someone down here who speaks Spanish, we start Spanish. We stumble through it, we do our best, and every day we're learning a little bit more. If you don't speak Spanish and you watch our travel videos, we try and put us speaking Spanish in there. If you don't speak Spanish, might sound that we speak Spanish. If you do speak Spanish, we don't speak Spanish. Like, our Spanish is really bad. But we are trying real hard to learn, and I think something to keep in mind as well, if you are planning on coming down here and you don't speak Spanish, learn as much as you can, but no, all the locals are really friendly. Like, if you try speaking Spanish and you're not doing a good job, they'll try and help you through the conversation. Like, just ask them, like, how's my Spanish? Like, how do I say this? ¿Cómo se dice? That's a wonderful phrase to learn. How do I say? So yeah, we're still learning, absolutely.
You don't have to speak Spanish to start this trip, but it does help. And a little bit goes a long way. People just really appreciate you trying. And Google Translate will get you very far as well.
Yeah.
But everyone's friendly, do your best, and learn as you go.
Yeah. All right, next section.
Okay. Do you want to do van or Finnley?
Van.
Van it is.
I love Finnley. We'll save the best for last.
Okay, what do we got going on? Do you need a four-wheel drive for Mexico and Central America? No, but on some roads it would help. We have friends with four-wheel drive vans. We have a two-wheel drive van, and it does totally fine.
We treat our van like it has four-wheel drive sometimes.
Yeah, it would be nice, but no, you don't need four-wheel drive. You can do a lot of the areas just with two-wheel drive.
I would say as well, if you are worried, bring your own recovery gear. We have a shovel, traction board, straps, all that sort of thing. Like, there have been a couple times where we've got stuck, like in sand or going up steep rocky mountains.
Yeah.
So just have your own recovery gear with you. Okay, next question. What is your favorite thing about your van? What's your favorite thing?
I really like that we have an espresso machine in the coffee region. It's been amazing. But it's just nice. I like being able to be off grid, and our electrical system is nice as well. You like our bed.
Yeah, I like that all three of us have a comfy spot to sleep. Like, we prioritize getting a good night's sleep in our van. So we have a nice, thick, comfy memory foam mattress. Finnley has his own couch. We all get good night's sleeps in the van. I like that.
How do you get drinking water? In most countries south of the US, you shouldn't drink the tap water. So in those countries, we usually go to purification stations. They're all over the place, and we buy purified water, and then we just fill up our tank with it. In Costa Rica, you can drink the tap water. I think you can in Panama and some parts of Colombia. Some people put in filtration systems in their van. We didn't, because we designed it for Canada and the US. So if we need to, we just buy purified water. It's usually a couple dollars a gallon. It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, buy the big 5-gallon garrafons.
Yeah, those are like $4.
Yeah. Right. Oh, a long one. How much did your van conversion cost, and how long did it take to build? Okay. So if you're watching this because you're thinking about doing a van conversion, the price varies drastically. For us, the vehicle, we bought it used. It was a 2018, so it was lightly used, and it cost us $35,000 Canadian.
Something like that, yeah.
And then the conversion was about 30,000 Canadian. And we spent 2 years building it. We were working, and it was a pandemic at the same time, and we had no prior building experience, so we did a lot of YouTube learning when we were building our van.
We did everything ourselves, both to learn and to keep costs down.
Yeah.
Is there anything you change about your van? When we designed our van, we intended to be in Canada and the US. We didn't plan on coming down here, and as such, we didn't design our van for extreme heat. It does do really well in the heat, but when stealth camping in Central America and Mexico, we like to have the windows closed, which makes it hot. So it would have been nice to have 2 fans, so you can have both your windows closed and good airflow. We ended up buying 120-volt fans to plug in Central America, which really helped, but it made this use a lot more power. And then the other thing in South America is our heater was one of the best heaters you could buy when we installed it, and it's good up to 3,000 meters, 10,000 feet. but the Andes are frequently a lot higher than that. So modern heaters, the newest variety, go off a lot higher, and it would be nice to have a heater that's better for altitude as well.
I think it's also easy to get googly eyes over other people's vans and think that you're missing out on, or like you should have done the X, Y, and Z. But realistically, we're very comfortable in our van. Like I think we did a great job designing our van. Like we've been living in here full time for 2 years and enjoying it. So I think we've done pretty well.
You've enjoyed it?
Yeah. What? Okay, next question. How do you find places to sleep / where do you sleep? Okay, so if you are in the van life overlanding community, you already know this, but if you are not, there is an app called iOverlander and it is fabulous. It has absolutely everything that you need for an overlander. It shows you campsites, boondocking sites, where to get water, safety issues, all that fun stuff. It's all in there. It's all crowdsourced information, and that's predominantly how we find spots to sleep.
Some are more up to date than others.
Yes, we found coming down through Mexico and Central America that sometimes places haven't been updated in a couple of years, and we're going over there and just figuring it out for ourselves. And yeah, but that's what we use is iOverlander.
And for where do you sleep?
A variety of spots.
Sometimes we sleep at gas stations, sometimes rest stops, occasionally the main square in towns.
Yeah.
Sometimes really nice wild camping spots like the beaches or free spots. And sometimes we do what we're doing now and we go to paid campsites.
I will say as well is that when we are boondocking or staying in free sites, we always go and ask someone for permission. We don't want to just assume that we can stealth camp somewhere and be okay. We like to just ask a local, is it safe to park here? Is there going to be any issues? Or frequently we will go and ask the police if we're okay to park there. And most time, I think all times, they've said yes. They've been like, absolutely yes, please stay here. If you have any issues, let us know. Like everyone's been really friendly.
Except one time when we were told it was a dangerous area and we should go somewhere else.
Yeah, and so we did.
So we did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, run away.
How do you get showers? When we started this van build and our trip, we designed a circulating shower, but we found it wasn't worth the hassle to set up, and if we didn't clean it all the time, it needed to be cleaned. So on the road, we mostly get showers at gas stations or campsites.
Yeah.
They're usually $1 or free at gas stations, and we get gas all the time anyways. Or if we're at a campsite, they usually have showers as well. And it really hasn't been an issue.
Yeah. Next question.
Oh, this has a hole in it. All these have been going on the ground.
What's your toilet situation? Okay.
Everyone's favorite subject.
Yeah. So when we built our van, we put in a Thetford chemical toilet, and that was great for Canada and the US. However, when we ventured down to Mexico, they don't sell the chemical to put in the toilet, and
there's no dumping stations.
There's no dumping stations either. We tried all the home remedies to replace it. Nothing worked. So we switched it out. We got a composting toilet for down here, and that is way better.
The chemical toilets do work really well, but also we had a 5-gallon one.
Yeah.
So dumping it was about 50 pounds, and we were usually dumping them in gas station bathrooms.
And it was too heavy for me, so it was only Jake who dumped it.
So it became quite heavy, and this current one is a lot easier on our back.
Yeah. Okay, last question.
And we'll link it below if you're interested.
Yeah, I've had it for a year now. Year and a half?
Yeah. Have you had any issues with your van or van build? Very minimal. We've had no issues with the van. We've been keeping up with its maintenance, and it's been good. With the van build, we've had to replace a couple of our kitchen gas shocks because they've just gone with too much heat. But they're easy to find. And then pretty much everything else has worked. So happy days.
Yeah. That was the last of this section. Now we're on to Finnley.
And the last question we get asked a lot is about Finnley.
Yeah.
And this is actually how we meet a lot of locals on the street, that everyone is wondering how we got our dog here.
Because he's not travel size. He doesn't fit on the planes.
Stop hitting the tripod, buddy. Come on. You're looking like an amateur. I thought you've been doing this for years. You've been doing this for years.
No, that's cute. That's a belly rub. Next question. What's getting dog food like? People have pets down here, so you can get dog food. The quality is where we run into issues sometimes. They just don't have the same quality as what's up in Canada and the US, and we try and feed Finnley a very high quality dog food. We always feed him salmon based, and we have been able to find salmon based protein foods down here. So yeah, we can get dog food. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. We have to go to multiple shops and try and find one. The other issue we run into is how expensive it is. The quality is not the same as Canada and the US, but the price is higher. So we spend a lot of money on dog food.
Yeah, it's about twice what it is in Canada and the US for all right dog food. And we usually end up getting stuff that's been imported from Canada and the US.
Yeah. But he's doing good. He'll eat it. He's not picky.
Have you had any issues with stray dogs? Sometimes and sometimes not. Generally, they're okay. Finnley does attract a lot of attention from the stray dogs, but usually they just want to see who he is, and if we don't stay too long in their territory, they're okay. Occasionally, it's been a bit of a problem, but by and large, they're okay, but you do really have to be aware for strays because some are very territorial.
And Finnley isn't an aggressive dog, so when stray dogs are approaching, he doesn't even acknowledge them. It's always Jake and I. Jake and I? Yeah, Jake and I, I got it right. It's always Jake and I who have our eyes out watching to see if stray dogs are approaching, because sometimes they can be a little bit aggressive towards Finnley because he is such a large male dog. So, yeah. Something you have to watch out for.
What's up, Douglas?
Are border crossings difficult with Finnley?
Sometimes.
They take effort, but I wouldn't say they're difficult. It's no different than trying to get a van across the border. Every border requires a series of steps to import him into the next country. They usually require a vet visit, checking that he's up to date on his vaccines, and sometimes we have to fill out import and export papers, and there's always some sort of price that comes along with that. But it's doable. We've had no issues with a country that just won't allow dogs in at all. Everyone's allowed them in.
How do we get Finnley to South America? We've been asked that quite a lot lately. We flew Finnley from Panama to Colombia. It is possible on the airlines. The other option to do is to take a boat, which is like a 5-day sail through the San Blas Islands. But while he is allowed on the boat, he's not allowed below deck, and most of them don't have proper coverage. So there'd be a small sunshade, and if there was stormy weather or rain, he would be exposed for 5 days to the elements. So we didn't like doing that. We took him on a plane on Copa. No, we took him on a plane on Wingo, and it was a fairly smooth process.
Yeah, and he flew in cabin with us.
Is that the last question?
Last question.
Last question.
Last question. Okay. Does Finnley like traveling in the van? I think he does. I think he loves the van. When we were first building it, he wasn't so sure about it when it was an empty cargo van. But now that he has his own couch in there, he loves it. Like, he is always on the couch. He's such a couch potato. And I think generally he just loves being with us. So the fact that we get to spend all day together, exploring new places, just generally being together, I think he wouldn't trade this for the world.
It's also become his safe space. If he's scared of anything, he just goes in the van.
Yeah. That wraps up our first ever Q&A video. We hope you found the information helpful. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, please leave them in the comments below. And if you found the information on this video helpful, give us a big thumbs up to let us know.
If you want to see more from us, we have our travel series on YouTube, more real time. We're on Instagram, and we have our email updates that we send out. So there is a link to that in the description below. And we hope you enjoyed it. We're still enjoying our trip and having the time of our lives. We're putting out lots more videos, so stay tuned, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.